Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Giravada Dari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Gopi Jana Vallabha Giravada Dari. Gopi Jana Yashoda Nandana Raja Jana Ranjana. Yashoda Nandana Raja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Giravada Dari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Giravada Dari. Yashoda Nandana Raja Jana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Pari Rajakacharya Ashtotara Shata Shri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ishkan founder Charya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Pari Rajakacharya Ashtotara Shata Shri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Srila Sachinanda Bhaktivinoda Thakur Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Vaishnava Sarvabhuma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jaya Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunatha Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Das Raghunath Sad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shamakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Ananta Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Pranath Raj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Ishkan Vartma Guru Vrinda Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Gora Pramanande, Haribo. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayan Namaskritya. Naram Jayava Narottamam. Devam Saraswatam Vyasam. Tato Jayam Yuridayat. Nasta Preshu Abad Preshu. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttama Shloke. Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances under the personality of Godhead Narayan, under Narayan Rishi, the supremest human being, under Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and under Srila Vyasadeva, the author. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by the rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. And loving service under the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Okay, so today is New Year's Day, January 1st, 2024. All right, Happy New Year, everybody. So we're reading Canto 4, Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter 20, Lord Vishnu's appearance in the sacrificial arena of Maharaj Prithu, and we'll be doing verses 22 and 23, even though there's a purport for 22. I just wanted to also go on to 23. So we'll do 23 responsively, and I'll just do 22. All right. Atavrimijashrukalalilokayan atripadriko charamahapurusham parashprishantem shitimam sarunate vinayastahastagramuranga vidvisha. Translation. You have to move over here. The Supreme Personality of Godhead stood with his lotus feet almost touching the ground, while he rested the front of his hand on the raised shoulder of Garuda, the enemy of the snakes. Maharaj Prithu, wiping the tears from his eyes, tried to look upon the Lord, but it appeared that the king was not fully satisfied by looking at him. Thus the king offered the following prayers. Report. The significant point in this verse is that the Lord was standing above the ground, almost touching it. The residents of the upper planetary systems, beginning from Brahmaloka, the planet where Lord Brahma lives, down to Svargaloka, the heavenly planet of Indra, are so advanced in spiritual life that when they come to visit this or similar other lower planetary systems, they keep their weightlessness. This means that they can stand without touching the ground. Lord Vishnu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but because he lives in one of the planetary systems within this universe, he sometimes plays as if one of the demigods of this universe. When he first appeared before Prithu Maharaj, he was not touching the ground of this earth, but when he was fully satisfied with the behavior and character of Maharaj Prithu, he immediately acted as the Supreme Personality of Godhead Narayan from Vaikuntha. Out of affection for Prithu Maharaj, he touched the earth, but he rested the front of his hand on the raised shoulder of Garuda, his carrier, as if to prevent himself from falling down, since the Lord is not accustomed to stand on earthly ground. These are all symptoms of his great affection for Prithu Maharaj. Perceiving his fortunate position, Prithu Maharaj could not fully look upon the Lord due to ecstasy. But still, in a faltering voice, he began to offer prayers. All right, text 23. So we'll do this one responsibly. Pritirvacha Varan Vibhotvad Varadeshvarat Buddha Katam Vrinite Guna Vikriyatmanam Yenarakanam Api Santi Dehinam Tani Shakavaya Pate Rinena Cha Pritiruvacha Varan Vibhotvad Varadeshvarat Buddha Katam Vrinite Guna Vikriyatmanam Yenarakanam Api Santi Dehinam Tani Shakavaya Pate Vrinena Cha Pritiruvacha Varan Vibhotvad Varadeshvarat Buddha Katam Vrinite Guna Vikriyatmanam Yenarakanam Api Santi Dehinam Tani Shakavaya Pate Rinena Cha Okay, please chant. Param Vibhotvad Varadeshvarat Buddha Katam Vrinite Guna Vikriyatmanam
Yenarakanam api shanti dehinam
Yenarakanam Api Santi Dehinam Tani Shekavaya Pate Vrinena Cha
Param Vibhotvad Varadeshvarat Buddha
Paran Vibhotvad Varadeshvarat Buddha Katam Vrinite Guna Vikriyatmanam
Yenarakanam api santi dehinam
Yenarakanam Api Santi Dehinam
Tani Sakaivalya Pate Vinena Cha
Tani Shakavaya Pate Rinena Cha Pritirvacha Varan Vibhotvad Varadeshvarat Buddha Katam Vrinite Guna Vikriyatmanam Yenarakanam Api Santi Dehinam Tani Shakavaya Pate Rinena Cha
Piturvacha
Pritirvacha
Varan Vibhotvad Varadeshvarat Buddha
Varan Vibhotvad Varadeshvarat Buddha
Katam Vrinite Guna Vikrayatmanam
Katam Vrinite Guna Vikriyatmanam
Yenarakanam api santi dehinam
Yanarakanam Api Santi Dehinam
Tani Shakavaya Pate Vinena Cha
Tani Shakavaya Pate Rinena Cha
Varan Vipota the Varadeshvarat Buddha
Varan Vibhotvad
Pratham Pranite Gunavikriyatmanam
Utram Vrinite Guna Vikriyatmanam
Narakanam Apishanti Dehinam
Yenarakanam Apishanti Dehinam
Anisha Kaivalyapate Vrinena
Tani Sakavaya Pate Vrinena Cha
Kuduvacha
Kriturvacha
Varan vivo travad Varadeshvara Buddha.
Varan Vibhotvad Varadeshvat Buddha Katam Vrinite Guna Vikriyatmanam
Narakanam Abhishanti Dehinam
Yenarakanam Apisanti Dehinam Tani Shakavaya Pate Vrinanacha. Okay, anybody else?
Any question?
All right, let's do word for word. Rituvacha. Ritu Maharaj said, Varan, benedictions, Bibho, my dear Supreme Lord, but from you, Varade Ishvarat, from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the highest of bestowers of benedictions.
From the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the highest of bestowers of benedictions.
Buddha,
Buddha,
a learned person,
learned person.
Katam, how,
How
Rinite,
Rinite
could ask for,
ask for
Guna Vikriya,
Guna Vikriya,
bewildered by the modes of material nature,
bewildered by the modes of material nature.
Atmanam,
Atmanam,
of the living entities,
of the living,
yea,
yea,
which,
which
Narakanam,
Narakanam,
of the living entities living in hell,
of the living entities living in hell.
Api,
Api,
also,
also,
Santi,
Santi,
exist,
exist.
Dehinam,
Dehinam,
of the embodied,
of the embodied,
Tan,
Tan,
all those,
all those,
Isha,
Isha,
O Supreme Lord,
O Supreme Lord,
Kavalyapate,
Kavalyapate,
O bestower of merging in the existence of the Lord,
O bestower of merging in the existence of the Lord.
Rene,
Rinne,
I ask for,
ask for,
Na,
not,
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 Cha,
cha,
also.
also.
All right, translation by Srila Prabhupada. Translation by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai.
So good, I said it twice. My dear Lord, you are the best of the demigods who can offer benedictions. Why, therefore, should any learned person ask you for benedictions meant for living entities bewildered by the modes of nature? Such benedictions are available automatically, even in the lives of living entities suffering in the hellish conditions. My dear Lord, you can certainly bestow merging into your existence, but I do not wish to have such a benediction. Okay, please repeat. My dear Lord, you are the best of the demigods
You are the best of the demigods
who can offer benedictions.
who offer benedictions.
Why, therefore,
Why, therefore,
should any learned person ask you for benedictions
should any learned person ask you for benedictions?
meant for living entities bewildered by the modes of nature?
Meant for living entities bewildered by the modes of nature.
Such benedictions are available automatically,
Such benedictions are available automatically,
even in the lives of living entities suffering in hellish conditions.
even in the lives of living entities suffering in hellish conditions.
My dear Lord,
Dear Lord,
you can certainly bestow merging into your existence,
you can certainly bestow merging into your existence,
but I do not wish to have such a benediction.
but I do not wish to have such a benediction.
Purport. There are different kinds of benedictions according to a person's demands. For karmis, the best benediction is promotion to the higher planetary systems, where the duration of life is very long and the standard of living and happiness is very high. There are others, namely jnanis and yogis, who want the benediction of merging into the existence of the Lord. This is called kavalya. The Lord is thereafter addressed as Kavalyapati, the master or lord of the benediction known as kavalya. But devotees receive a different type of benediction from the Lord. Devotees are anxious neither for the heavenly planets nor for merging into the existence of the Lord. According to devotees, kavalya, or merging into the existence of the Lord, is considered as good as hell. The word nakara means hell. Similarly, everyone who exists in this material world is called nakara because this material existence itself is known as a hellish condition of life. Prithu Maharaj, however, expressed that he was interested neither in the benediction desired by the karmis nor that desired by the jnanis and yogis. Srila Prabodhana Saraswati Prabhu, a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya, described that kavalya is no better than a hellish condition of life. And as for the delights of the heavenly planets, they are factually will-o'-the-wisps, or phantasmagoria. They are not wanted by devotees. Devotees do not even care for the positions held by Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva, nor does a devotee desire to become equal with Lord Vishnu. As a pure devotee of the Lord, Prithu Maharaj made his position very clear. Okay. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnana Jana Shalakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Karamayam Dadati Swapandantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajatan Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Savavetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Cha E Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bando Jagapate Gopesha Gopeka Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Go Rangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Hari Pre Panchakalpa Dhrubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so today we're seeing so Maharaj Prithru, he performed 99 horse sacrifices in order to please the Lord and get blessings. And he wanted to perform 100 horse sacrifices. But as we know, his horse got stolen. So, and Lord Brahma came and told him and said, look, why are you even doing all these sacrifices? You're already realized, that the purpose of these sacrifices is to come closer to Krishna and to have realization. You already have that. So make do with just the 99. And so he did. And Lord Vishnu was very pleased, and so he's appeared. And so he's Maharaj Prithu is about to start giving him some prayers, which we read part of one in the second verse. So this is the first verse we read, let's see, is pretty far out, talking about how the Supreme Personality of Godhead stood with his lotus feet almost touching the ground while he rested the front of his hand on the raised shoulder of Garuda, the enemy of snakes. So the purport tells us that the residents of the upper planetary systems, they don't even need to, or they don't have to stand on the ground because they're weightless. They can just kind of float there, kind of hover there. And this reminded me of a pastime that I heard about Srila Prabhupada, and I'm sure some of you have heard this. Let's see here. So this is from Yamuna Devi's book, A Life of Unalloyed Devotion. So it's called A Special Morning Walk at Tittenhurst. One particular morning, the long grasses were particularly wet from the dew. And everybody knows who Yamuna Devi is. She's one of Srila Prabhupada's first disciples. So, okay. So one particular morning, the long grasses were particularly wet from the dew, and it was very foggy. So we were going down a hillock, and Prabhupada was walking a little ahead of me. And as I was watching Srila Prabhupada's feet, I thought, I will step where he walks. As a disciple, it's thinking to try to walk in the footsteps of the spiritual master. All of a sudden it hit me. There's no footprints. It struck me so profoundly, and I turned around and looked, and there were really large, deep impressions where I had walked. So I stopped and said, Prabhupada, I'm confused. You are walking in front of me, but there are no footprints where you are walking. And where I walk, there are footprints. How is that? So actually, he was quite sober, and he said, that will be revealed in time. But he never gave me an answer, and it still hasn't been revealed to me. Other than that, he was from another place. He was a Vaikuntha man. So what can we infer is that from the purport of this verse is that Prabhupada must have been from the upper planetary systems. He's able to walk on the ground without actually touching it. So how amazing is that? So this verse also, the first verse also really shows the affection between the Lord and his devotees. So let's see, I think it says in the purport, yes, out of affection for Prithu Maharaj, he touched the earth, but he rested the front of his hand on the raised shoulder of Garuda, his carrier, as if to prevent himself from falling down, since the Lord is not accustomed to stand on the earthly ground. And these are all symptoms of his great affection for Prithu Maharaj. So this made me think of another story, which we've all heard, but I love it. So I'm going to tell it again. That kind of illustrates the affection that the Lord has for his devotees, and also the affection the devotees have for the Lord. And that's the banana peel story. Okay, so everybody knows that one, but I love it. So Krishna was invited by many leaders, including Duryodhana, to big royal feasts. They wanted Krishna's blessings and associations. So Krishna was invited to all these different big opulent feasts. And Duryodhana invited him to his big opulent feast, his big royal feast, and his intention was to gain the favor of Krishna. But one of Krishna's other devotees, Vidura, he humbly just waited for Krishna, and he offered all that he had, like his whole life, his house, everything he had, which wasn't, all that much compared to a king. So Krishna did not go to the big opulent feast. He went right to Vidura's house. And when he got there, Vidura's wife was there, and she didn't have anything prepared to receive him, but she had some bananas. And so she was just so overwhelmed with ecstatic love that Krishna was there. So she's like, well, I guess, I'll have these bananas. Okay, so I'm going to give him these bananas. And she grabs a bunch of bananas and she goes and sits near him and starts peeling the fruits to give him to him, throws the banana away, hands him the banana peel. And Krishna's just like, oh, wonderful. He's eating it and he's just enjoying the banana peel so much. And she's, peeling another banana, and then she's tossing the fruit out, handing him the banana peel, and she's just, probably looking at him with, stars in her eyes. And so Vidura comes home, and he sees what's going on, and he's just like, what the heck are you doing? And so he's a little bit embarrassed, and he kind of chastises her. So then she's very, she's like, oh no, she's all distraught now. And so she peels, another banana, and this time she hands him the banana itself and, tosses the peel away. And Krishna eats the banana, and he says that it didn't taste as good. The banana offered with diverted attention didn't taste as good as the banana peel that was offered with full attention and love. And I don't know if anybody's eaten a banana peel. I've never tried, but it doesn't sound like it would be that good. what this story illustrates is just how Krishna, what he accepts from us is our love, because he doesn't need our bananas or our banana peels. He could have all the bananas or banana peels or whatever he wanted. But the one thing that he doesn't have that we can give him is our love and our attention, our love and our attention and our service. And so I think that's really important to remember. A lot of times I'll see, people get really caught up in the details of, certain rituals and the details of like, oh, I have to do it exactly this way or that way. And you're not really doing it with love. You're just kind of doing it like, okay, I'm checking off this list. Okay, I've done it this way and this way and this way. And that's not exactly pleasing to Krishna if it's not done with love. And so it's the love that's important. Now, that doesn't mean just do everything willy-nilly the way you want, because out of love, you want to try to do it properly. But you shouldn't be so focused on that you forget to add that love. I mean, that's what this whole motivation should be the love. So I was wondering, if any of you have any examples of the Lord and his devotees showing affection for each other? If anyone can think of a story. Yes, Lavanga. And Ethan, can you give her the little mic? And just hold the flat button down to turn it on.
This description of Lord Vishnu resting his hand on Garuda, or resting his arm on Garuda, to keep himself from falling, because he says he's not used to standing on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Now we know that Krishna is Om Purnamada Purnamidam. Krishna is perfect and complete. So really he doesn't need anybody to help him. But yet he likes to be dependent on his devotee.
Yeah.
So this actually shows that this dependence. So it is like there's so much love between Krishna and the devotee, to the extent that Krishna wants to come down a level, not show that he's all powerful, but wants to bring the devotee up. The devotee is thinking, I'm dependent on Krishna, but Krishna is thinking, I'm dependent on the devotee. So it is like when Durvasa Muni offended Ambarish Maharaj, because Ambarish Maharaj was doing the Ekadasi fast for 1 year, and when Durvasa Muni came to visit him, Ambarish Maharaj told him to go take a bath before he ate. Like all great sages, they bathe before they eat. But it was time for Ambarish Maharaj to break his fast. So he didn't know what to do, because Durvasa Muni had not eaten yet. So he consulted the Brahmanas. The Brahmanas told him, drink water, because that is considered fasting or not fasting. But Durvasa Muni, being the great mystic that he was, knew that Ambarish Maharaj had took water before him. And he was upset that Ambarish Maharaj didn't follow the exact rules, details of etiquette. And so he created this demon from his mystic power to kill Ambarish Maharaj. And that at that moment, that this big demon was created from one of the hairs of Ambarish Maharaj, Krishna's Sudarshan Chakra showed up to chase Ambarish Maharaj. And to chase Durvasa Muni, and Durvasa Muni is running, and he goes to Lord Brahma, and he asks for help, and Lord Brahma is like, I can't help you from Sudarshan Chakra. He goes to Shiva. Shiva's like, I cannot help you from the Sudarshan Chakra, because it's more powerful than I am. And then he goes to Vishnu, and even Vishnu says, even though that is his chakra, because Vishnu has 4 things: chakra, lotus, club, and conch, and 2 of these are weapons. Even though that's his chakra, he says, not even I can help you. And he says this very beautiful verse: I live in the heart of my devotees. My devotee is completely dependent on me. I'm dependent on them. I don't know anything but them, and they don't know anything but me.
Yeah.
So only Ambarish Maharaj can save you. So you had to go and pay his obeisances to Ambarish Maharaj to get forgiveness. So this is a wonderful example of the love.
Yeah, good story. Yeah. Is devotee and Krishna's Sudarshan Chakra comes after you, he can't help you. You gotta go ask for forgiveness. Okay, Kirtaneshwar Garangadas.
Thank you for that class. I was listening the whole time. Pastime reminded me of the Vidura pastime, but the Lord Chaitanya version is Raghava Pandit's sister Damayanti. We have a devotee named Damayanti, Raghava Pandit's sister Damayanti. Raghava Pandit was one of the Bengali devotees, so he lived in Bengal, whereas Lord Chaitanya had moved to Orissa and Jagannath Puri. And so Lord Chaitanya was residing in Jagannath Puri. And every year, the Bengali devotees used to go for the Rath Yatra festival in Jagannath Puri to see Lord Chaitanya when they'd stay for 4 months. And it's described that Lord Chaitanya, he would be in an internal state for the rest of the year. He'd be internal, just kind of crying and like having ecstasies. Whereas when the Bengali devotees would come, Lord Nityananda, Advaita Acharya, Srivas, and the various Damodar Pandit, all the Bengali devotees would come, he would come out and he would have loving exchanges with them for 4 months continuously. So every year, Raghava Pandit's sister Damayanti used to make these food preparations for him. Very nice, opulent food preparations, pickles, and things that would last for the journey from Mayapur to Jagannath Puri. And she'd make these, but she would, because she was so in love with Lord Chaitanya, she didn't really even think of him as God. So she would make all these like digestive aids, nasty digestive aids, that because she thought, oh, if Lord Chaitanya eats all these things, he's going to become sick. He's not going to be able to digest. So the love that she put into those digestive aids, Lord Chaitanya would just eat the digestive aids because he was eating the love that she had put into them. So I thought that's a very nice pastime.
Oh, that's very nice. Okay, so I want to talk. So that was, we talked a little bit about the first verse that we read. So, and also the one thing I wanted to bring up too about, Krishna wanted to experience, the ecstasy that Radha had when she would be with him or be in separation from him. And that's part of why he came as Lord Chaitanya, so to experience the ecstasy of, his own, being his own devotee. So let's see. So text 23. So this verse is talking about different benedictions and asking the Lord for different things and I always thought that I don't presume to know what my best interests are, so I shouldn't really ask for anything. That doesn't mean that sometimes my desires get the better of me and I'll ask for it anyway. But but intellectually, I know. I don't know what my own best interests are, and I know this because there, if you've seen the track record of my life, I've made many poor decisions. And there used to be a game show many, many years ago where, you said, I'll take what's behind door number 3, and they had, 3 doors to choose from. And one could be like a new car, and one could be, an opulent vacation. And then one was like a pile of dirt, and so the people would choose, I want what's behind door number 3. And it's like, I don't know. Are you going to get the new car? Are you going to get the pile of dirt? And that's sort of, how I intellectually think about, praying for specific things, because I don't know what my own best interest is. I've told this story before, but when I was younger and I worked at this gas station, there was this very handsome paramedic that would come in all the time and get coffee, and I just thought he was very handsome and I liked him a lot, and he liked me too. And so one day he asked me out and I was very happy. I was like, yes, okay, I get to maybe go on a date with this handsome guy that I like. And we did. We went for a walk, and it was horrible. It was just terrible. It was just terrible. he was telling me these terrible stories about how he would have sick children on his ambulance that were whining or crying, and they wouldn't be quiet, so he would take their stuffed animal from them and threaten to throw it out the window if they didn't quiet down. And I was thinking, wow, this is what you're telling someone on a first date when you're trying to give your best impression. This is really terrible. So, it was just horrible. And also he was just not a very good conversationalist, other than telling me these horrific stories about torturing children in an ambulance. And so I didn't know it was good for me. I thought I wanted to go on a date with this guy, but I was wrong. And my mother, she was so upset with me that I wouldn't see him again. She was like, "Oh, he's so handsome. He has a good job. And it's like, yes, but he's kind of dumb and he's not very nice." And so that's one way that I know that I might think I want something, but in the end, it's not good for me. So I don't know. Let's see. I wanted to read, and we all know this too, but verse 4 of the Shikshastika is like a mood we should aspire to, which is, "O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth." And this is the mood that we should try to aspire for, instead of, what can the Lord do for me? What was it? JFK said, ask not what I can do, what my country can do for me, but what I can do for my country, right? So think about that in terms of the Lord. Don't ask what the Lord can do for us, but what can we do for the Lord? So I think also the prayers of Prahlad Maharaj from Canto 7, Chapter 9 really illustrate really nice mood. So I kind of picked out a few verses because they're long. It's too long to read all of them. But let's see. Text 24 says, "My dear Lord, now I have complete experience concerning the worldly opulence, mystic power, longevity, and other material pleasures enjoyed by all living entities, from Lord Brahma down to the ant. As powerful time, you destroy them all. Therefore, because of my experience, I do not wish to possess them. My dear Lord, I request you to place me in touch with your pure devotee and let me serve him as a sincere servant." And then text 25, "In this material world, every living entity desires some future happiness, which is exactly like a mirage in the desert. Where is water in the desert? Or in other words, where is happiness in this material world? As for this body, what is its value? It is merely a source of various diseases. The so-called philosophers, scientists, and politicians know this very well, but nonetheless they aspire for temporary happiness. Happiness is very difficult to obtain, but because they are unable to control their senses, they run after the so-called happiness of the material world and never come to the right conclusion." Then I skip to text 43. "O best of the great personalities, I am not at all afraid of material existence. For wherever I stay, I am fully absorbed in the thoughts of your glories and activities. My concern is only for the fools and rascals who are making elaborate plans for material happiness and maintaining their families, societies, and countries. I am simply concerned with love for them." And 44. "My dear Lord Nrsingadev, I see that there are many saintly persons indeed, but they are interested only in their own deliverance. Not caring for big cities and towns, they go to the Himalayas or the forests to meditate with vows of silence. They are not interested in delivering others. As for me, however, I do not wish to be liberated alone. Leaving aside all these poor fools and rascals, I know that without Krishna consciousness, without taking shelter of your lotus feet, one cannot be happy. Therefore, I wish to bring them back to shelter at your lotus feet." So that's the mood we should try to aspire for. A little bit from the purport. It's quite long, so I can't read all of it. But the purport says, "This is the decision of a Vaishnava." So if we remember, I know most of us know the story of Lord Nrsingadev, but these are Prahlad Maharaj's prayers, and Lord Nrsingadev had saved him from his father trying to kill him in like countless ways, practically. Yeah, and then he kind of offered him some benedictions, and Prahlad was just like, I don't need any. I just want to be your servant. So this is the decision of the Vaishnava, the pure devotee of the Lord. For himself, he has no problems, even if he has to stay in this material world, because his only business is to remain in Krishna consciousness. The Krishna conscious person can go even to hell and still be happy. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj said, I'm not at all afraid of material existence. The pure devotee is never unhappy in any condition of life. This is confirmed in the Bhagavatam 6:17-28. Devotees solely engaged in the devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan, never fear any condition of life. For them, the heavenly planets, liberation, and the hellish planets are all the same. For such devotees are interested only in the service of the Lord. So you should really read this purport. It goes on, and there's a lot of good stuff in it, but we're sort of running out of time here. Yeah, it's great. Thank you for helping me find it too, Lavanga, yesterday. So we just want to think about this too, it's not very nice if you think people are only loving you for what you have or what you can do for them. So, when think about like a famous person. When you're a famous person, people are always asking you for money or for fame or for something like that. Even in the beginning of our movement, Shama Sundar, when he became friends with George Harrison, there was a point where Srila Prabhupada wanted him to approach George Harrison and ask if he could help fund the printing of the Krishna book. And Shama Sundar was he didn't really want to ask him. He said, look, I've been really careful with this relationship because people are always asking him for help to do things, for money. And he just didn't want to be another person like that. But Prabhupada, said, no, you should ask him. And it worked out. And he did help fund the printing of the Krishna book. And also think about one of the most desired positions in the past for in a royal household was to be the king's, I forget what they call him exactly. It's like the minister of the king's close stool or something like that. This was someone who was with the king while he evacuated, while he used the bathroom, and would help clean the king up when he was done. And the reason that position was so coveted, it doesn't seem like it'd be a desirable position, right? Like who would want to take care of someone after they went to the bathroom? But the reason that position was so desirable was because you were able to have the king's ear at a very vulnerable time, and you could ask him to do you favors. And so, a king can't even go to the bathroom without someone using that time to ask him for favors. So that is not something that any of us would like. I'm pretty sure. So you have to realize that that's why we're trying so hard to aspire for that mood where we're not just asking Krishna for favors all the time, because nobody likes that. We want to know, same with a pretty girl. A pretty girl might be thinking, oh, does this boy only like me because I'm pretty? Or does he like me, because I'm, a good person or I'm smart or whatever? But even that, can be troublesome. So this is the mood that we're trying to aspire to love Krishna for himself and to want to serve him. What can we do for you? Not what can you do for me? And so I think I'll end there. If there's any comments or questions, please. Yes, Prabhu.
Mataji, please accept my humble obeisance. So, very nice presentation. So, I like to add that actually the Vaishnavas or the devotees, they have the highest, philosophy of renunciation in their life. So Srila Prabhupada once, he referred about the Bhakti Vinod Thakur, what he told, that the devotees even, they don't desire to see Krishna. So here's the thing, that there are many devotees other than the Brahmavada Gauriya Parampara, who always asks Krishna to appear before him so that he can see the beauty of the Lord. But but Bhaktivinoda Thakur wants us to serve the God, serve the Lord, to engage ourselves in the devotional service, so that Lord Himself, He appears in front of us to see, to help us. So this is the thing. And I would like to refer another example from Haridas Thakur's life. So when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he asked Haridas, he was very, very dear to me. So this is the time I want to give you some benediction. So what do you want from me? The Haridas Thakur asked that hey Mahaprabhu, I don't have any benediction from you. Don't want any benediction from you. If you want to give something to me, then please give me the birth in the womb of a devotee, so that I can taste your, remnants, Mahaprasad, birth after birth. So this is the desire of a devotee.
Yes, very nice.
Thank you.
Very beautiful. Thank you. Chaitanyeshwara Gunagala.
Yeah, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta said it best. Don't try to see the Lord act in such a way that the Lord wants to see you.
Yeah.
And yeah, or something else I had, but Krishna took it away. It was something about Lord Chaitanya. Something about Lord Chaitanya. Oh, yeah. It wasn't about Lord Chaitanya. It was about Radha and Krishna. That is related, though, because they're the same person. So, but the gopis and Lord Krishna, they were, because of their devotion to Krishna, Krishna said, I can't give you anything, because your love for me has pleased me so much. Your simple love for me has pleased me so much that I cannot reciprocate with you. So that they're the highest love of Krishna. They conquered Krishna. And Krishna said, I cannot reciprocate with you. Therefore, you just have to be satisfied with the service that you render me. Because the gopis had given up absolutely everything to be with Krishna. And, they were obsessed with Krishna. And so Krishna said, what can I possibly do? So that's our, Gaudiya Vaishnavas, that's our highest, Lord Chaitanya explains, it's the highest mode of worship. And the Lord Chaitanya demonstrated with his associates. So, when someone, devotee, comes to that level, that when Krishna can't reciprocate with the devotee, because all they want is the love of Krishna. And so in order to increase their pleasure, Krishna leaves and never comes back.
Okay. Are there any other comments or questions or criticisms or exclamations? All right. Oh.
I just have a quick one.
Yeah,
I was just
Prabhu?
wondering if you or anyone knows when it talks about merging into the Lord, if that's about going to Vaikuntha or the Brahmajyoti. That's like.
I just assumed that it was going into the Brahmayoti. Yeah.
Because it says it's hellish. Yeah.
Yeah.
They moved it like the effulgence around Krishna.
Yeah.
Personal Brahman.
Yeah. Yep.
Very nice class.
All right.
Mataji, the sister of Raghav Pandit. So she showed the power of love. The foods are being cooked, but it took 1 year for Mahaprabhu to finish those. But at that time there was no refrigerator or freeze system, but still the food is in good quality. So this is the power of love he showed.
Also the devotees were bringing Lord Chaitanya so much food. Lord Chaitanya is supposed to be a sannyasi, so he's just, that actually Govinda, his servant would just pile it in a corner. And then they would ask him, the devotion that Govinda did, did Mahaprabhu eat the food I gave him? And Govinda would lie and say, yes, he ate it. He started to feel like he was like really entangled and finally like kind of like chastised Lord Chaitanya. He's like, I'm telling all these people that you're eating this food and you're not eating it, therefore you have to eat it. This is a whole mountain of food, and Lord Chaitanya ate it all in one sitting.
All right. Yeah, on that note, let's go eat our own smaller mountains of food. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.